Welcome to the Switch Bit, and today we'll be talking about Dark Quest II, a turn-based strategy dungeon crawling RPG set in a high fantasy themed world, including orcs, goblins, warriors, dwarfs, all the kind of things you'd come to expect from a Tolkien era high fantasy setting. This game particularly grasped my interest because I enjoy that setting, but the story itself is pretty bland. One night you're in the castle hanging out, some bad guy sends a bunch of enemies in there and kills a bunch of people. Now the survivors are huddled in a village, and you have to go in and clear the castle and all the tunnels inside the castle. Let's take a look at the story real quick.
We must warn Master. Master, they are coming.
I see them.
What would you have me do, Master?
Open the gates. Let them in.
So obviously we're not working with, wonderful storytelling here, but it's all about the gameplay. So let's jump right into that. You have a bunch of different characters. You start with a barbarian, and each character has its own stats, as you can see here. And you move the characters along a grid-based system, room by room, clearing enemies. It all comes down to randomly generated numbers, RNG, rolling the dice, and it is affected by your stats. So here we have a little enemy who has his own set of stats, and you have your own set of stats, and those will basically be multipliers to determine if your attack will land and if you'll damage the enemy. And you'll take turns doing that. You have standard attacks, and you also have like special attacks that you can level up in the village, which we'll show here in a minute. The whole point of this is to play level by level, and you're just trying to find basically escape the level. Some of the levels have little things that you should be doing, but if you can find the exit, good. If you can pick up these little magic pots, even better, because those are what you're going to use to level up your character's abilities. The main things that you'll find within each level are going to be enemies, traps, and treasure chests. So it's up to you if you want to kind of play the risk-reward of going after treasures in a room full of enemies, or if you want to try to bypass that, try to find the exit, or try to find those magic pots so that you can level your characters up. And once you find the exits, you'll be brought to the village. Those are your two main areas. You're going to be playing in the game, in the dungeon, or in the village. Now in the village, you are going to be upgrading everything. You're going to be buying armor, recruiting other people to play along with you, as far as like dwarf, cleric, monk, that kind of stuff. You can pay a little fee to the gravedigger, and if one of your characters dies, you can bring him back to life, buy potions, and upgrade your abilities. So this is a pretty useful little hub area, and then once you're all set, you can go back out onto the prowl for more treasures and more magic pots. Here are some of the characters. I chose to go with the knight. The knight in this game is going to basically be a healer and attacker, and as you play more, you'll have the opportunity to recruit new heroes, and also sometimes you'll just be given a new hero as you play. So really it just depends on how you want to play. And depending on the level you want to go into, some of them will only allow you to bring one hero, some will allow you to bring 3 heroes, and if you have more than one hero, you can play it cooperatively, couch co-op, with somebody else controlling the second character. And I kind of went by that pretty quick there, but that was where you could upgrade your abilities to use, and everybody has their own unique abilities. So let's assemble this little party here and go on the prowl. You're basically going to take turns however you want to, attacking enemies and using your abilities throughout. Most of the abilities are only going to be single use, but there are some caveats to that, and there are potions you can take to allow more uses of your abilities through the run. So there is a lot of strategy involved, not just in trying to figure out how to attack the enemy, which position to attack the enemy, but which abilities to use as well. So yeah, I really enjoy this game. for what it is. It's relatively cheap on the Nintendo eShop, but it allows a lot of customization. So I could play it, somebody else could play it. We have completely different experiences as far as how we build our characters. Just like right here at the blacksmith, there's so many different options for how you want to build each character up. And I enjoy the art. You know, it reminds me very much of the old kind of like 80s high fantasy books and games that you'd find. So the art and the setting is very enjoyable to me. The story is not very good. And if you go into this knowing what it is, you know, it's just a grinder. There's not a whole lot of meat and potatoes to the actual story or campaign, but you're going in having fun, killing orcs and goblins, and collecting treasure. So it's a good game. I think it cost me around $6. I enjoy it. I'll be putting some more time in it. It's definitely not going to pull me away from Xenoblade, but it's a good little game. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if there's any games that I have not covered that you want to see my impressions on or tips and tricks, just go ahead and comment that below, like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Happy hunting, everybody.